Here we go.
Radical honesty. Have you heard of the term radical honesty? So radical honesty or radical authenticity simply means to report out loud to the world what you experience, what you feel, what you think at the very moment you feel them without any euphemism. And it is something that I tried when I was in high school and has influenced my whole life so far, although I'm not continuously currently practicing it. So it was a summer break. I read this book written by Brad Blanton, Radical Honesty, How to Transform Your Life by Simply Telling the Truth. And I found this idea pretty therapeutic, and I said, why not? And that very evening, I told my mom what she made for dinner was really mediocre. So you can tell it was still hard to be that honest in a minute. And just a spoiler, I never told my mom she looked a little bit chubbyish in her favorite dress. And after my school resumed, I was a little bit worried, so I warned my friends that I would be a little bit direct in the way I commute for a while. And to my surprise, my friends took it pretty well, and there were some problems, but they were within an acceptable range. Life has been much easier for me since I didn't have to rephrase myself all the time. All of my concern was to express my feelings or my thoughts as accurate as possible. There was this kind of things or problems, like I directly pointed out my headmaster had assigned too much homework, and my words was actually ridiculously too much, and I ended up got some extra work myself, but that was still within an acceptable range. However, things had came to a turning point in a clichédly beautiful afternoon when I finished an exam a little bit earlier and went to the restroom afterwards. I found my friend Amy coughing really painfully by the washstand. So she saw me as well, telling me that she was having a very severe stomachache. So I called her mom for her, called the teachers, and she was taken to the hospital, and luckily there was no severe problems. I thought that was the end of a happy helping day, but it turned out to be only a prelude. After a week later, when Amy came to me again, asking me if I can help her because she said there is a monster inside her. So just before I Googled it for her how to conduct an exorcism for a teenage girl, I realized what she meant by monster is actually bulimia from her description. And the day when I found out her in the washroom, she was under too much pressure because of the exam we were taking, so she couldn't help but went to eat a lot of junk food and went to the washroom to vomit them all, and that's what caused her stomachache. And she actually came to me for help because when she went to her parents, her mom find it a shame to admit that her daughter has some psychological problems and report it to anyone. But my answer to her asking for help was, no, Amy, it is stupid to ask a high school student for such professional help. You should go to a psychiatrist instead of coming to me, although I told you I like psychology, etc. Then I saw Amy's tears. And that's, to be honest, the very moment I realized I was really not only being honest, being authentic, being direct, I was also being cruel to my friends who loved me and trusted in me enough to come for such help. I realized I was also even being proud or even arrogant when being authentic, because if you try my practice just for a short while of your life, you will realize how easy it will make you to be arrogant, to be simply being authentic. I simply felt like that freaking brave little cool kid who dares to point out the king is naked. I felt like everyone around me was like that silent lamb following some invisible shepherd. And oh my god, I felt so proud when I was watching a Game of Thrones, and Tyrion Lannister said, most men would rather deny hard truths than face it. And oh my god, my arrogance at that peak. But then there were Amy's tears. So I hugged her and I said, Amy, I'm sorry. But then I couldn't say anything more because I couldn't tell her everything will be alright or tomorrow is another day, or those cliches, because that would be against my authenticity policy since I didn't even believe in those blindly optimistic accounts. So I could only hug her. Afterwards, I told all my friends how sorry I was that I wasn't thoughtful enough for their feelings, that it's like what I thought was tolerable range, acceptable range, was there purely tolerating my practicing and try to, because they know they love me, so they did what they did. I promised them I'll try to find that balance between authenticity and non-maleficence. And as to Amy, I helped her talk to her mom, and lucky for both Amy and me, I persuaded her mom to take her to a professional help that Amy has needed and really deserved. So from the process of first hesitatingly trying it to living a much more efficient life by practicing it, to finally being faced with some problems and try to solve it by finding that balance, I learned a lot. But if you're asking me if I'm going to continue being honest, well, I guess for the rest of my life, I'll just try to be as rich as possible because, as Shakespeare said, no legacy is so rich as honesty.